Hello everybody! Today I'm scrapping a couple of photos from a recent dinner with some friends, and I'll be using this sketch today. That sketch comes from Rochelle Spears, and you can find her at rochellespears.blogspot.com. I'll try to remember to put that information into the video description. So I'm playing with some Studio Calico paper today. I haven't used Studio Calico paper in forever, and I thought I needed to get some out. So the first thing I did there was cut that background chevron paper, and that is Studio Calico, as I said. It's from Print Shop and it's called Watercolors. Then I just cut a strip of that pink paper, and that paper is from Studio Calico again. It's from the South of Market collection, and it's called Made with Love. And then I really decided I liked how that pink paper and the ampersand paper went together, but I thought it needed something else sort of in the background. So I pulled out that yellow paper. That is from the Studio Calico Sun Drifter collection, and the name of that paper is Seafoam. So I'm pulling all that together, and then sorry, but I trimmed up that pink paper just a little bit more because it was still 12 by 12 and it needed to shorten up just a little bit. So that ampersand paper there is from Studio Calico, again, Print Shop, and it's called And Then. And then I pulled out that doily. It's an 8-inch doily, and it's from Sunny Side Up Bakery at Hobby, and you can buy it at Hobby Lobby in their cake decorating section. I just did a haul video yesterday, and I showed you 8-inch doilies and 6-inch doilies, but they also have doilies in smaller than 6-inch and larger, I believe even up to like 14 inches, maybe even 16 inches, but pretty large doilies there, 12 for sure. Anyway, so I really like that soft feminine detail it's giving me. And now I'm playing a little bit to try to decide if I want a little bit of that ampersand paper showing on the other side. And I decide that no, I definitely don't like that. So I'm going to start inking up papers here, and I am using the Tim Holtz Distress ink in Vintage Photo. It's the brown ink that Shamel uses as well. Never can go wrong with something that she's chosen. And I'm going to ink all those edges. And the reason I'm doing that is the patterns are kind of busy in some of them, and there's large blocks of color, plus like that yellow really doesn't appear anywhere else in any of the papers. So what I wanted to do was really bring them together by inking all those edges, and that's really what that achieves there. So I'm just lining things up there. I'm using my ATG, trying to get the right size there, and then I'm also trying to make sure that on the right side, obviously I want the doily on the ampersand paper, but I also want the edge of the doily to be a little bit further to the right than that yellow paper. So that's what I'm looking at there. And that seems to work. Straightening up a few edges here. So actually I committed pretty fast to how the arrangement is going to be. And now I guess, you know, that is one of the nice things about following a sketch. And I followed it, at least to this point, really pretty closely. And so now I'm actually ready now to put down my photographs there. And I have those down. And even, a lot of times I'll work on that block of paper or the blocks of paper that the photographs are sitting on for quite a while before I'll actually glue them down. But in this case, I glued them down pretty quickly. So the next thing I'm going to do is pull these flowers from Studio Calico, these paper flower, or not Studio Calico, sorry, they're from Sassafras Lass. And they are the Sassafras Lass Paper Whimsies, the Beatnik Buds collection. And I just love the way they went together with the colors in these photos. I just thought they really went well with the ampersand paper. And I've had them around for quite a while. So I decided it's time to get some of them used. What I did up there is I did pull 2 tags out from Kaiser Crafts A Touch of Gold collection. They are not going to stay on that layout, though I'm going to pull them off. I really do like the way they looked, but once I put the paper flowers down on the bottom, they were just a little bit too clean, I guess would be the way I would describe it. So I pulled them out. They were pretty white against a lot of the other pieces there. And now I'm going through some of my October afternoon tidbits, which is basically what the October afternoon die cuts are, to try to find some pieces that will match here. And so I'm looking for pinks and yellows and oranges. And I find that tab that's from the October Afternoon Farm Girl collection and from the Tidbits pack. So I keep these right next to my desk, and I just pulled the envelopes with any, or the packages with any pink or orange or yellow in them. And I found as well that So Crazy circle, and that is from the October Afternoon Daily Flash Girl Talk snap caps, which are basically like the tidbits as well. So I like that. The other thing I pulled was that Seriously arrow in gold, and I'm still trying to put those tags on there, but they're not going to work. But the Seriously arrow in gold, that arrow is also from the October Afternoon Daily Flash Girl Talk collection, and it is from the snap caps. So then I needed a journaling spot, and I wasn't sure if I wanted a lot to journal on or a little bit. I wasn't quite settled there. What I ended up doing is I pulled that small journaling card from the Yellow Studio Every Moment's Bits and Pieces collection. I like Elle's Studio pieces too. They're pretty clean, but they're easy to work in with lots of different designs. There was a banner on that, but I'm going to push it down far enough under the top photo that you're not going to see that banner. And inking all the edges of the flowers here, so they'll blend in as well. I'm so glad that these worked because I've had them for a long time. Now, I still wasn't committed yet to that Elle Studio journaling card at the top, so I tried another journaling card from Elle Studio in pink, but it just really stood out too much against the rest of the layout. It just called too much attention to itself. And it also covered up quite a bit of that doily, and I really wanted to be able to see it because that's the soft feminine piece on this layout. So I'm playing more with a pack of Heidi Swap chipboard, and I had pulled some of the pink pieces off of that. I looked at using a label and ended up not doing that. But what I did pull is I pulled that Totally chipboard heart there, and it's actually from a pack that I got at Michael's, and it doesn't have a name, so I can't tell you for sure what it really is, but it's chipboard and from Michael's. I'm not sure if they still carry it or not. So now I'm playing with positioning things up there just a little bit, trying to get the right reveal on the flower and on the tab to have that sit in and look right, and then also on that So Crazy die cut. And I do like that So Crazy die cut, but there's a space up there kind of underneath that, between that and the tab, that I'm not liking. So I am going to try to figure out how to solve that. And to do that, I was looking at that small glitter heart there, but I thought it was too little. So what I ended up doing was I pulled that heart from a sticker sheet. It's from Studio 112 at Joann's, and it's just a die cut sticker sheet of hearts. Those are actually made by K & Company too, just in case you were wondering. I thought that was interesting when I saw it. But I do decide now, since I have gold in that cluster, that I need gold in the top cluster as well, and then I will want it on a third spot too, because it's looking unbalanced, and I'll cure that in just a second. That heart is actually something that I punched from a piece of Recollections glitter paper. They have beautiful gold glitter paper there, and it doesn't shed all over, which I thought was really nice. So that punch is actually a Martha Stewart punch, that heart punch. I'm going to use a smaller one as well too, eventually. And right now I am playing around a little bit with some Maggie Holmes bows in both gold and kind of that hot pink. That bow, however, is not going to stay there. I'm going to end up putting part of my title there instead. And I'm really glad I took that off. Now that I look at it, it just looks like it's hanging out there. The flowers there sort of blend into the background a little bit more. And here is why here's where I punched that smaller punch. That's a punch that I picked up at Hobby Lobby, and I punched it out of that Recollections paper. When I cut glitter paper off edges and that kind of thing, I usually save them, and then I'll punch a bunch of hearts or butterflies or whatever it is that I want to punch, what I use, and I keep it in a dish right in front of me on my desk so that I can just add it to layouts. I'm working on my nephew's wedding album, so those really come in handy quite often. So in the midst of all that, I did take off that bow because I decided I didn't like it. And as I said, the paper flowers are kind of blending in with the background, but that bow is just sticking out a little bit too much. And I realized there that I had forgotten to ink the Seriously arrow. And the Seriously refers to the amount of wine that we have there for the 6 of us. Now, I will tell you, we drank wine that night, but we did not drink all of those bottles. My friends each came with one bottle. Honestly, I think we did probably have 4 bottles, but there were quite a few of us there, and we were having a sleepover at my house. We did it a couple years ago, and we did it again because half of us in that photo are from out of town, from where I live. So I pulled some gold letter stickers from Maggie Holmes there, and I wanted to call it, I thought about calling this Books and Wine for a title, or Dinner and Wine for a title. And I actually like the size of the wine, the letters in wine, but I thought the ampersand looked a little bit too big for me, and it was bothering me. But I'm going to change that. So I'm just playing a little bit with the letters here. I'm going to look at how I'm going to do this. So Dinner and Wine, and I'm kind of auditioning different places to put the title there. I use wax paper just like Merciera does, and I really like that because I can push things around my layout. And I'm thinking, well, I kind of like that there, but I also felt like it was a little bit too big. So I'm trying to figure out something else to do. I also like that it adds that touch of gold there. So now what I figured out is maybe I want to use a smaller alphabet there. And that's what I'm going to end up using. The alphabet there is going to be the Dear Lizzie Fox alphabet. And I'm going to use all caps for this one. And what happens is The glitter is a little bit closer to the glitter. It's much finer than the chunky glitter on the Maggie Holmes as well, and I think this really works better. So I started out calling this Dinner and Wine, just like I was going to with the other one, but this really was a dinner associated with a book club. So we had a book club sleepover and dinner and wine. So pretty soon I'm going to decide that I want to change my title a little bit. And what's happening here is I think as I'm looking at this, there's too much weight in that right cluster now because of how the title is sitting, and I want to cure that. So I'm playing around with this a little bit, thinking about calling it Books and Wine. And then I get the idea that maybe I should separate the title, which this is basically how the title is going to end up. And I really love that once I hit upon that idea. It really draws your eye through the layout because you have to read it going through the layout. So you see each of the clusters, and then it goes around all of the photos. That title goes around all the photos. So I love how this turned out. I like that it's softly feminine, but has really bright colors as well. I think I forgot to, when I talked about the heart that went up into that top cluster that I'm working on now, getting the title up in that, when I put that heart in that space, it took up the space that was bothering me between the So Crazy Circle and the tab. And excitingly, I am going to be able to use a comma, or actually 2 commas. They're always on my letter sheets and I don't get them done. So I don't remember if I get them on while I'm taping, but I know I do put them on later because you'll see them in the still. So I'm just using my Uniball Signo Gold pen to do my journaling, and I will finish this up in just a second. Have a great night, or have a great day, either way. Bye.